Hey everyone, welcome to the Bargain Bandit. This is episode number 28. Today's date is December 18th, 2012. I'm Stacy and this is with Kraus House of Cards, the YouTube channel, and thank you for joining me. Tonight I'm going to go over items that I've recently sold on eBay. It's been another good week. December has been very good to me, and so I've picked out some interesting items I thought I would show you. Give you a little bit of details on them. I have my top 3 picks from the past weekend, which are kind of lame because you've already seen them if you watched my thrift video, because I didn't actually go out buying this weekend. So all I have are those 3 items I bought. And then of course I'm going to do my shout out to somebody, a fellow YouTuber that I watch and enjoy his videos very much, so be sure to stay tuned for that. Please visit KrausHouseOfCards.com. Link. This is a blog where I am blogging every day of the week, Monday through Friday. I have 5 different features that I've been putting up. Today is the Bargain Bandit Tuesday, so if you go to the website tonight, you will find a bonus item of something I have sold this past week and profited on, so go check that out. Next week is the last week of the year, so that's going to kind of end this year's episodes, so it'll be year 1, episode 29. I will be starting over with year 2, episode 1 the following week. And next week's episode is going to be probably a little bit different. I'm probably going to do a little bit of looking back and looking forward type of episode. So that should be fun. Stay tuned for that. And that's pretty much all my announcements. KrausHouseOfCards.com. Please like and subscribe if you enjoy this video. And let's get on with what I've recently sold. This week I've split the items I'm going to show you into board games and non-board games. I have 3 board games and 3 non-board games, and I'll start with the board games. The first game I am going to show you, I sold a copy of Bible Pictionary, and religious games do okay on eBay. I made some pretty good money off of Bible Pictionary, didn't pay much for it, which is always nice. I would always suggest picking up religious games if you can get them for cheap enough, because there's a huge market for religious items, period. And, I have another religious item coming up later in the episode. So it's always a good idea. Religious items sell very well. People are always interested in those types of items. There's a lot of very religious people in this world. A lot. So it's a huge market. And when there's a huge market, you need to be selling in it. And Bible Pictionary, it wasn't in the best condition even, and I still did pretty well on it. The next game I'm going to talk about is one that I'm surprised, honestly, with the knowledge that I have of board games, that this one's worth anything. But they're actually worth a lot, and they're super quick sells. And it's a game called Aggravation. And Aggravation is a game where you got like a board, and it's usually some cheap cardboard board with a bunch of holes in it, and then you get marbles, and you get marbles of different colors, and the objective, is to travel around the board and get to your home base. It's not an overly complicated game. It's not an overly rare game. There's quite a few of them out there, and it's not a really well-made game. And yet, they're worth $20 a piece. Go figure. It's one of those things where, given my knowledge of board games, I can a lot of times, even with a game I'm not sure about or I don't know a lot about, I can look at it, look at how it's made, look what the pieces are, look what the topic is, look what the age group is, and have an idea of what the game is going to be worth. Aggravation is one of those that bucks all those rules. And so pick up Aggravations because they are quick and easy sells, and they actually sell for more money than the average board game, does. So. The last board game I'm going to talk about is one I'm pretty sure I've talked about before, but the first one I sold that I talked about is how not to sell it. And this is how to sell it. This is a copy of a board game called Risk. And I actually did sell it with free shipping just like I did the first time, only I put a real price on the item and I made really good money as a result. Granted, this copy was in much better condition than the first one I sold. It still had the insert. It was in beautiful condition. The box had a couple of issues, but not too major. You can put free shipping on items if you know exactly what you're doing with your pricing of your shipping. Got to be careful, but you can do it if you're careful. And Risk, it's a fun war game. It's both a mainstream and a hobby game. It it can go either way, and that's kind of nice. Everybody who is played board games has heard of the game of Risk, and hobby gamers still love to play Risk, and there's a whole lot of versions of Risk, and I often see them brought to board game night because people do love the game so much. It's got a really good basic premise for a game. It's got a lot of strategy involved, but it's not overly complicated, so anybody can pick up and play it. It is a great game. And if you're a hobby gamer and are wondering how you can get the other people in your life who like board games but maybe don't want to play your more complex strategy games, how to get them more involved, sit them down with a game of Risk first and see how it goes. And now on to the non-board games. This next item is something I actually picked up from Anne, from Annabella's Gift Shop. She talked about how to sell these, so I've been picking them up when I see them. There was this one interesting sale. It was one of the sales I actually took you guys along with me on the road. They had a lot of stuff in the house, but a lot of it was priced really high. And they had these tapes, and it was next to a tape recorder. And I said, how much for the tapes? And she said, oh, they go with the tape recorder. And I said, well, if I just want the tapes, how much would you charge? And she's like, $3. And I'm like, well, would you take two? Because there were four pairs, so it was 8 tapes total and still in the shrink wrap. And she said, sure, I'll take 2. So I got these tapes for $2, and I made good money on them. They didn't take that long to sell. People still buy audio cassettes like crazy, apparently. I'm not sure why. It's another one of those things where it's like, oh, technology, people still use that? What are you talking about? People still have a landline and need a phone for their home. What? I don't understand. So, but it's great for us because these kinds of things are easy to find, easy to come upon, cheap to get because other people are just trying to get rid of them. They don't want a lot of money for them, and yet they do sell pretty well and for decent money. This next item came out of that big auction that I went to 2 weekends ago where there was a ton of stuff, lots of box lots. I bought a lot of box lots. I paid $50 for everything that I bought, filled up my car. It was great. And it was one of the boxes that I just personally was like, what is this? I got no clue. It's a Dorsey wedge foot splint thingy. I don't get it. And it was in a box of I bought the table lot. They sold the lots first, like everybody, if you want to pick something off this table, bid $5, 10. And then when nobody else would even pay $5, they'd take everything else on the table, put it together into one lot and sell it. And there were about 5 lots left on this table. And I went for $10. I was like, $10, I'll take it. And inside the box that I wasn't even interested in, didn't care at all what was in that box, I found 2 of the Dorsey wedge splints that had never been opened, never been used, and a pair of Crocs RX, which are not the really valuable ones, they're the cheaper version of the Crocs, but I still expect to make some decent money off of that. I expect those 3 items alone to pay for my entire auction. So the Dorsey wedges I put up on Friday, they sold yesterday. I sold both of them to the same person. I put them up as fixed price with best offer, and they bought both of them. They made me an offer of $20. I had them up for $25. They made me an offer for $20. They were going to buy both of them, so I'm like, sure. So I sold both of them for $40. There you go. And I didn't know anything about them, and now I know a little bit more about them, and if I see them again, I will be like, ooh, I'll buy those. The final item I'm going to talk about here, and you can still see one more bonus item if you go to craftshouseofcards.com and check out my Bargain Bandit bonus. But the last item I'm going to talk about is a Bible. And it is a Regency Bible from 1990. I bought it at an estate sale where I showed you the estate sale. It was the estate sale I took you on. I only paid $1 for it. It had $2 on it, but when I got up to pay for it, the woman only charged me $1 for it. And it was a 1990 Bible. So when I got home and I actually found the date in it because I couldn't see a date when I was there. But when I got home and looked and I saw a date on it, I'm like, oh, 1990. It's not vintage. It's not going to be worth anything. But they are. If you got more modern Bibles that are in really good condition and have an ornateness to them, something special about them, red letter editions, the covers are really nice. They don't even have to be too extravagant, have some kind of illustrations on the inside. These Bibles are still worth money, even though they're not that old. This one was 1990, so it was only 22 years old. Really not old at all. and yet I still did really well on it. In fact, sold it for more than some of the other older Bibles that I've gotten have gone for. So just because a Bible is new doesn't mean it's not worth money. And that is a lesson I just learned. And now it's time for my top 3 favorite picks from the past week. And as you guys know, I didn't go out this weekend. I think it was a hard time for everyone in America this weekend, and I am not an exception. I have a first grader. So everything that happened last week is scary. It's scary to everyone. And it's sad and tragic, and I've cried a lot, and I've had a really hard time handling my emotions. And the best way to handle emotions for most people is distraction. So I did a lot of distracting and not a lot of working. But before all that happened, on Thursday on my way to board games, I did go to that thrift shop, and I did buy 3 items exactly. So I have 3 items to show in my top 3. Yay! And I know a little bit more about these items today than I did last week, so I could talk about them a little more. So the first item I picked up was this. It's the Sea Monsters game. Will your ship survive the sea monster? And this goes back to one of those things I talked about where it's like, you become so familiar with games that you can look at a game you don't know anything about and still have a feeling as to whether it's worth value. Now, the first clue to me that it wasn't going to be worth a whole lot was the ages 5 and up. So it's an ages 5 and up game, which tells me it is geared towards children. Games that are geared towards children are not as valuable as games that are more adult oriented. So that was the first clue to me that it wasn't going to be worth a ton, but it was a game I never heard of, and it's still worth about $10. I'll still be able to sell it for $10, which is good. If it's a game I've never heard of, the box is in okay condition, not fantastic, but it's still in pretty good condition. The colors look really great on the box. It's an interesting topic, so I still thought, even with like the ages 5 and up, and they only wanted 99 cents for it, so it wasn't like a huge risk for me either. I still thought that this would be something I could sell. I don't know how easy it'll sell yet. Hopefully this time next week it'll be sold. But it still is, something I picked up because it was different, even though, I knew it was a children's game. And I'd never heard of it before. The second item I picked up is this here. And this is the first Boynton mug I've ever found. You can see here it says Boynton. I've never been able to find another Boynton mug. And this one says, I play to win. So this would be great for anybody who's really competitive or a coach or something. And it's got this little artwork on it here. It's recycled paper products in Japan. Really good condition. Doesn't look like it's ever been used. A little bit dirty, but in good condition. No cracks or chips. You may have seen me in the video do this thing here. Because I am checking, because you can feel those much better than you can see them. So I always check the lips, and there are chips on the handles all the time. So I went down the handle too to make sure there were no chips. And then, just checking along the edge here, because along the edge here, there can often be times, not here, but here on the outside, there can oftentimes be chips too. So that is one of the easiest ways to check, and it's quick, pew, 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 So, and it's a Boynton mug. Boynton mugs are, varying values. This one's only worth about $10. Some of the Boynton mugs can be worth quite a bit more, but Boynton is always a name to look for and a name to pick up. It is not a difficult sell, and, it's nice little mug. So that was my second find, and my first Boynton mug find. I've never seen one before. I look for them, but I don't see them. And my third and final item was definitely a good pick. I wish I had gotten it a week earlier, because then I would have been able to sell it quickly. I'm having a feeling that by the time this gets up, it may not sell for a while. It's still got collectible value to it, so somebody may buy it, but it may be one of those things that sit in my store until October or November next year. And it is this, A Christmas Story Collector's Edition Monopoly. It's not an old game, it's 2008. But it is the collector's edition of the Monopoly. It's in fairly good condition. There is one issue I have to deal with, but I don't think I'm going to have too much trouble dealing with it. And that is that this store that I go to tapes up all their game boxes like this. Shoot, shoot, boop. And not with like cheapo tape. No, they use packing tape to tape up their game board boxes. I have a feeling that at some point I'm going to go in there and ask to talk to the manager and beg them to stop doing that, because it really affects the value of a lot of games. But because this is a newer game, the tape has not been on there that long. It's a coated plastic. I might be able to apply some heat via hairdryer and get that tape off of there without damaging the box. Cross your fingers. I'm hopeful, even though it's a freak load lot of tape, I'm hopeful that I'm going to be able to do that. If I can do that, then this game should sell for $25 to $30. If the tape is a problem and I can't get it off without damaging it, and I'll know right off the bat, I won't take the rest of it off. I'll leave it on. But there will be a little damage from me trying to take some off, and then of course the tape being on the box itself is considered damage. It will be a much more difficult sell, and I may have to lower my price down to $15. I paid $2 for it, so $15 even still is good. But of course, I would love to get the full value that I can for this. And Christmas Story Monopolies, like all the other monopolies, comes with the pewter thingies. The board is neat. Here's what the board looks like. Isn't that nice? Nice little board. I like it. And then, the pewter tokens are neat. It's got the little leg lamp crate. And this is a really popular motif around this time of year. I sold a coffee mug like that. And then it's got like the little car with the Christmas tree on the top. And it's got the box that the crate came in. It says Fragile. It says fragile, but anybody who's watched the movie gets it. It's got the little glasses that are broken because this is where he shot his eye out. I love this movie. This is an awesome movie. And it's got the bar of soap that he gets for saying a bad word when he's helping his dad change the tire. And then the final item is his little brother in his snowsuit. And he can't hardly move. So, yeah, it's a great game. Oh wait, no, that's not his brother in a snowsuit. That's him. Okay, I think this is him in a rabbit costume. But anyway, so it's a funny movie, fabulous movie. I love it. And the game, is very popular around this time of year. Like I said, I may still be able to sell it for the value I'm looking to get out of it because it is a collectible monopoly and somebody who may be willing to buy it any time of year. But these sell really well in November and December. So like I said, I wish I had this a week earlier. So those are my top 3 picks. And now it's time for my shout out. And my shout out this week goes to somebody that I really enjoy watching. He and I do not tend to pick the same items, but I still enjoy watching him because he's very cinematographic. His cinematography is great. And he's very artistic in his shows. And that is the College Picker. Ding! So the College Picker, he does a lot of really good camera work and a lot of really good editing in his videos that makes them very entertaining. He's definitely trying to take a page from the American Pickers style of doing their shows. He's trying to be more professional in that regard, and it's something that I aspire to as well. I'm not the best editor and I'm not the best video taker, but I'm getting better every time I do it. Every time I do one of these videos, I get better. Every time I edit a video, I do a little better at my editing than the last time. Everything is a learning experience. So over time, I'm getting better. And, I hope to someday have a high quality show just like he does. So go check out the College Picker. He's got a lot of really good information. He does how-tos. He, gives hints and tips, and he, shows some things that he picks. So go check him out. And that brings us to the end of yet another episode of Bargain Bandit, episode number 28. I can't believe I've already done 28 of these things. It's crazy. Thank you so much for watching. Please go visit KrauseHouseOfCards.com for lots of bloggy goodness. On Mondays, I put up a games you should pick. I've got 3 of them up now, so go check them out. Tuesdays, I do a bonus Bargain Bandit item where I show you something I've sold and what kind of profit I made off of it. Wednesdays, I do a How-To Wednesdays. My first how-to was whether or not you should get an eBay store. And my second one was about weight, shipping weight on items. Just kind of some common sense things that maybe aren't so common sense. They seem common sense because I've been doing it so long, but I know a lot of people struggle with shipping weight issues. And I know I did in the beginning because I made some mistakes. So I'm thinking back to, what did I screw up in the beginning? Those are the things I'm writing about. And then Thursdays, I do an eBay spotlight where I spotlight an item I have up on eBay and tell you why it hasn't sold, probably, And then on Friday, I do a YouTube roundup where I round up all my favorite YouTubers and all the videos I watch during the week that, for people who have released new videos in the past week. So you can maybe find somebody new that you like, or, if you're not real good at keeping up on YouTube yourself, you can maybe, catch them that way. So that is my blog, and please go check it out. Please comment on my blog. I would love to get some commenting going on there, and let me know what you think. Please like this video, subscribe to this video, please. I will appreciate that so much. When I hit 500 subscribers, I will be doing a contest that's a little bigger than the contest I had last time, although both of the people got their videos and they said their prize, and they said thank you. Juan Santana, even put up a video that said thank you Stacey Krause and showed the items that I sent him, and then Political Picker also said thank you to me, and he said he's going to be putting those alcohol books to good use, so that's always a good thing. Glad to hear it. So I'm happy to it was fun. It was fun doing the contest, and I look forward to doing it again when we hit 500 subscribers. So like and subscribe and share my video out so we can get them subscriber numbers up and we can hurry up to the next contest. Please check me out on Mondays here on Cross House of Cards. I'm doing a game show, or a show about games that I'm calling All About Board Games, and that is my working title. That is probably not going to be the title I end up fully calling it, but right now that my creativity is dead, so I got nothing. Check me out on Mondays. I do that at noon Central, 1 o'clock Eastern, 10 a.m. Pacific, and I talk about board games, and it's a live show, so please come with your questions. Tomorrow, Wednesdays, we do the Gal Picker Show over on the Gal Picker Show channel, and that's me and Tracy, the Highland Picker, and we just have a lot of fun with it. We come with a prepared topic, and then we just answer questions and we respond to feedback and that sort of thing. It's a fun show. Come join us. And that's pretty much it. This weekend, I'm not expecting much in the way of sales, but I'll probably hit up the few that there are, because I'm sure there will be a few. I may do some thrift store visits this week, and of course you'll get plenty of video on that, and I won't be wearing heels this time, so my video should be more stable, because when you wear heels it's like boom, 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 and the video is not stable in my last thrift store visit because of that. No heels to the thrift store. And so check, be on the lookout for some On the Roads with Stacey's this weekend. I'll probably have a couple of them. Thank you for watching. Like, subscribe, comment. Love you guys. And see you next time. Bye.